Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 17th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing good, feeling good, mentally feeling, I'll say good. We'll say good. I would like to say great, but, it's not bad. I'll take it. Definitely much better than yesterday. Today was just felt good, felt normal, felt like I was back in the habit for real this time. So that was nice. Let's see here. Food corner, nothing really to report. Let's see. Nothing personal news. That's the same old same. So let me see here. Anything else I want to comment on this preamble phase? Nah, I'll do my typical startup. Oh. Technical difficulties. I dropped my tool. But yeah, hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you're hanging in there on this Tuesday, another Tuesday. Ooh. I will say it's definitely like nice and cool, very cloudy. No rain from what I, recall seeing today, but definitely like, it's murky out there. All right. But that's just the view from Cincinnati. Um let's talk international news. Let's talk about a little bit what's going on in Israel and Gaza right now. From Yahoo News, Israel Hamas war live updates. Hamas run Gaza Health Ministry says 500 killed in Israeli airstrike on hospital. Let's see here. The Palestinian Health Ministry, which is run by Hamas, said an Israeli airstrike killed at least 500 people at a hospital in Gaza on Tuesday. A spokesperson for Israel's military said, "We will get the details and update the public. I don't know to say whether it was an Israeli airstrike." So yeah, essentially this is already off the bat. This has been a big headline for today, and very quickly Israel has tried to deny and say, hey, we didn't do it, this was actually like, we're not sure, and they've quickly gone to say like, oh, actually Hamas had a failed missile launch and that's what happened. If you're asking me, I do not believe that last statement. I do not believe that this was a self-bombing or anything like that. I only say this is because we've had so many situations, like coverage I've talked about, with Abu Akleh, where, there's literally a journalist. She's literally killed by an Israeli sniper bullet shot at her, which what looks like intentional, but we couldn't prove that. Like, the investigation couldn't get that deep, of course. But vehemently, as long as they could, literally the IDF was like, no, we didn't do it. We didn't do it. It was Palestinian fire. It was crossfire from Palestinians and us. Like, we can't confirm that. And it took literally like here's the bullet. Like, yo, it came from the sniper rifle. Like, it is crazy how this shit will go, but you're going to have this kind of propaganda. You're going to have this kind of, misinformation, what have you. Obviously I do try to do my best to at least tell you like, hey, this I says this I says that, but that is how I feel about it. I do feel like, yet again, this is just another atrocity that is being committed. Earlier, the initial thing I was going to cover was there were 70 people who were bombed on their way, I believe, from the northern area, or at least they were in a southern area. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, look, we are literally trying to abide by this fucking, these crazy deadlines that you're setting up, saying, hey, go ahead and just move from the north to the south. Like, I know it's elbow to elbow. No one can move. No one can, like, get anywhere, but make that happen because we're going to just level this area. And then they still level the other area where you're going to. That's insane to me. I don't know. This is one of those things where I, knew this shit was going to be bad. And, sadly, Israel has not disappointed in that regard. They have brought their sense of justice to Gaza yet again. Um, the ground part, like in terms of that invasion, still hasn't happened. There's speculations on why, why not. But, I'm going to try to keep you posted on, any kind of big news I can that's coming out of the situation. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the least I can do. I know coming up, something I don't know if I'm going to actually cover, but Biden is supposed to be coming to Israel, as of course a show of fucking support. Also, a bit of side news here. Anthony Blinken, we've talked about that man a lot. Defense secretary or whatever. Or something like that, Secretary of State, whatever the fuck he is. He's been doing his thing. He's been trying to do the realpolitik, across the Middle East, trying to, put his fingers in the holes, stop the leak, stop the problem, stop this from becoming more of a conflict. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of Arab nations right now are like, look, like, we do not want to aid and abet in this in any kind of way. And, yes, the idea kind of seems humanitarian in terms of like a corridor out and saying, hey, we'll make it so that you guys can at least leave Gaza, go here or there. But then it's like you're a consummate refugee for the rest of your life. You will not be able to go back. Like, it is, and that's not right. That's not fair. That's not something that should just be like, oh, okay. Like, we are not talking about people who did anything wrong. We're talking about literal fucking civilians who just live here, who are just supposed to live their life, that already had their lives pushed out of an area and now are living between Gaza, West Bank. And now you're trying to say, oh, well, we have a way out, and at least you can do that. But once again, these Middle Eastern countries do not want to do that. It's already like they're already at a capacity for this, and you're just trying to spring this on them with no incentive. You're just saying, oh, just make it work, man. Just be a homie for us right now. And it's like, no. And not to mention, there are groups that are active, at least when we're talking about Lebanon, where it's like, yeah, like, if you guys actually do make an invasion plan and actually do put on ground forces, or this shit gets too much, yeah, we are going to make a move against you. And that's something that that's something that the West are heeding and really worried about. So I don't know what's really going to come of a Biden visit to Israel, but I think it's just one of those show of support, Solidat kind of thing. We're backing little brother there. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to me because a lot of this is just me learning, and just like everybody else who learns and comes to this conclusion, it's like, well, what can you say? What can you do? There are smarter, more eloquent minds and tongues out there that have said the shit that I say, and it just doesn't work. It's just unheeded, and I don't know. I know I'm dwelling on this pretty hard. I'm sorry, but it is big news, and I don't want to just take it for nothing. And it for a long time, like I've been listening, hearing stories and things like that. And yes, from both sides, it's very hard. It's very sad to take this all kind of in, but you want to see some kind of change for people who are literally trapped. They cannot leave. You know what I mean? You just want to see something better, for sure. Let's move on though. Let's cover some other shit. From the Detroit News, about 3,700 workers at Detroit's 3 casinos walked off the job at noon Tuesday after negotiations failed to reach new contracts, according to unions representing the employees. Dealers, cleaning staff, food and beverage workers, valets, engineers, and others are on strike at MGM Grand, Motor City Casino Hotel, and Hollywood Casino at Greektown. The Detroit Casino Council, which includes the UAW, Unite Here Local 24, Teamsters Local 1038, Operating Engineers Local 324, and the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters, and represents the workers, has said it wants wages that keep up with inflation, retirement security, technology protections, and other gains. Now, I didn't see like any kind of number that they were looking to hit. One thing I do want to say, I love the picket signs they have. Let's see. My favorite is "Don't gamble with our future." That hits. That goes hard. We love to see that. So obviously we're rooting for them. I know that the casino heads or whatever were saying like, hey, we were trying to work with them. We've been trying to come to the table. Our last offer was actually like offering them more money, but apparently it wasn't enough. And it didn't line up with the rest of their demands or meet the number that they're looking for. And I understand that because once again, like, you're gonna give these people a number and you're gonna say, hey, this will obviously you'll get this over a span of X amount of years. That's cool, but we all know, we've all experienced the past year or so, right? Like, inflation has been crazy. You do not know what the next year is going to bring for you and your family. So like, you need to know that you're going to get money that is worth your time, a livable wage, right here, right now. You need to know that. And then you need to know that it's going to scale for your future. These things are important. And it's also more than money. Those other things are very important to take into consideration. I feel like a lot of times naysayers will be like, oh, well, you can't always get what you want, da 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 da, you got to settle. But like, yeah, but at the same time, there are essential things that do need dealing with, and you do need to make sure that these things are taken care of, if not now, for the future, what have you. Like, you need to have these things in writing. It's important. I know that the casinos are saying, hey, we're going to operate, we're still going to keep things going. They say by legal means, so hopefully they keep that. But, obviously, where my heart's at, my head's at. It's with the unions. I'm rooting for them, clap it up for them. I really want to see them get a win. I'm always going to be seeing and rooting and barking for them. So, let me go ahead and move along, though. From the BBC News, exonerated man shot and killed in traffic stop in Georgia. A man who was exonerated after spending more than 16 years in prison on a wrongful conviction was shot and killed by a Georgia sheriff's deputy on Monday. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said Leonard Allen Cure was shot during a traffic stop. Cure, 53 years old, grew defiant during his arrest and assaulted the deputy, according to a press release. Emergency medical personnel attempted to treat Cure, but he later died. I can only imagine what it's like to know your son is innocent and watch him be sentenced to life in prison, to be exonerated, and then be told that once he's been freed, he's been shot dead. Seth Miller, executive director of the Innocence Project of Florida, which represented Cure in his exoneration case, told the BBC's media partner CBS. A rundown of what happened. The deputy used his taser on Cure, who in turn assaulted the deputy. The deputy again used his taser and then hit Cure with a baton before pulling out his gun and shooting. The police did not provide details about the charges for which Cure is being arrested. Cure was sentenced to life in prison in 2004 after being convicted of armed robbery with a firearm and an aggravated assault with a firearm in Dania Beach, Florida. There are problems with Cure's case from the start. A conviction review team and an independent panel of local attorneys found, including a disregarded alibi that placed Cure roughly 3 miles or 4.8 kilometers, for my international heads out there, away from the scene of the crime at the robbery, at the time of the robbery. Scene of the crime at the time of the robbery. That's the sentence. He was awarded a sum of money. He was awarded $817,000 or £670,144. It's unfortunate. It is sad. I know, like, hey, you shouldn't resist arrest, da 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 da. And I know that there's literally people out there in servers and forums and who even knows, maybe my fucking future chat comments cringe. They're like, well, you had a comment. It's like, you never have this shit coming, dog. Like, at the end of the day, my man used literally his Swiss Army knife of tools. He used his Batman-like utility belt on this whole man. It was like, oh, actually, I got to switch to Judge Dredd and I got to kill this man because he's fighting back so hard. like I said, it's sad. Like I don't think that'll ever make sense to me. It's gonna always be unfortunate to me. But yeah, I mean, if there is any updates on it, I definitely do some coverage on it. I know they're gonna do an independent investigation. Y'all know how that goes. But yeah, let's end on something though that is, in my opinion, a bit lighter. Though the haters will say, "Man, more crime. Oh, he just likes talking about crime so much." Maybe you're right. Maybe I do. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. From 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 CNN. Let me clear my throat. These in Florida used tractor trailers to steal more than $1.6 million in alcohol from U.S. distributor. Big shiesty move. Okay. An investigation is underway in Florida. That's right, we're back in Florida. We didn't leave. Well, I guess we left and went to Georgia, and now we're back in Florida. Whatever, ziggy zaggies. An investigation is underway in Florida after burglars used tractor trailers to steal more than $1.6 million worth of alcohol from a distribution company that carries brands including Jose Cuervo and Malibu. So essentially, it's like not even a crime. When you really think about it, like it's like barely alcohol. I don't know. I say that because I came up on Jose and Malibu as a kid. Well, you're not a kid, 21 years old, But those were my first margaritas at home. Those were my first, I don't know, weird mixed drink at home. And yeah, Malibu rum. Anyway, let's see. The theft began during the early morning hours on July 8th at Republic National Distributing Company, located in Hillsborough County, south of Tampa. According to newly unsealed search warrant obtained by CNN on October 5th. Between 4:10 a.m. and 9:45 a.m., thieves removed 4,277 cases of liquor from the company that also distributes alcohol from Franzia Wines and Sutter Home Winery, according to the search warrant, which was issued for an Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I was like, wait, what? Like, why was that the thing that they wanted so bad? But authorities believe there's probable cause that the phone contains specific information, including technical data and evidence showing that a burglary and grand theft took place. The thieves referred to in the document as unknown suspects also removed digital video recorders used by the alcohol distributor for video surveillance purposes. So, yeah, it's a bit of a wine caper, a bit of a liquor caper. Well, maybe not wine group, whatever. But, yeah, like, literally they had to get, like, tractor trailers for it. Like, they had to fill up, I think, like, 3 tractor trailers to remove it. But they were able, obviously to catch these guys. So, if there's anything else that, comes out of, that trial and sentencing, whatever, we'll probably be there for that too. Why not? But yeah, me, I just can't help myself. It's a alcohol. You got a heist. I can't help myself. Had to talk about it. But that's the news for the day. Let's see here. I do have to shill, so bear with me. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support the effort, you become a newsie today. At the top of the month, I will do a little roll call. I shout you out, plug a project, thing you're doing. And then let's see here, free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. And then you can find me or the podcast on all your favorite socials. And then also, please subscribe to the YouTube. It really helps out a lot. Those numbers are always good for me. Thumbs up, please. Those are always super dope. Comments are great. Let's see, reviews, all those little 5 stars. Those are really good doohickeys for me. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.